Good evening and welcome to regular board meeting of the Board of Education, Flossmoor 161. Today is Monday, February 8, 2016. We have a roll call, Mrs. Marino.
Okay, Simmons?
Here.
Odom? Here. Marks? Present. Huckabee? Here. Paredes?
Here and a quorum is present. First on the agenda, we have audience comments, and we have none this evening. So we will move right to our next agenda item, which is the superintendent's report. Dr. Duster.
Thank you, Mr. Paredes. First thing is the enrollment dashboard, and Mr. Brindle, if you pull that up. Enrollment dashboard, I've had an opportunity to look at it. We're staying stable. We're exactly the same as we were last year with 2,316 students. So we gained, but we didn't lose, so that's good. Next, I want to let the board know that we are going to be attending, there'll be some administration and HR attending 2 job fairs. One will be on February 22nd at Northern Illinois University, and the other one will be February 26th at ISU. We're looking for some ELL candidates, as well as a few other teaching candidates, of course, some replacement retirees. This month is Black History Month, as we all know. And with that, I have a listing, I won't go through that now, but every one of our schools is fully participating, and there's been some tweets that have gone out already that have been very wonderful to see for the community as well. Next one is, I want to let the board know we're having our second round of report outs. That is when all the buildings come to me and my cabinet, and we have a discussion about their school improvement plan, and this is part of our continuous improvement cycle. During that template that I provided to the board, I think it was in November, we're going to be going through that and see what types of gains have been made and what areas of adjustments we need to make. And the last item is our 7th grade boys basketball team. They are 1-1 at the state tournament right now. They played Minooka and Bloomington on Saturday. They beat Minooka, and Bloomington had beat them. They will be playing Thursday night at 6 o'clock against Urbana. And if they win, we get 3rd place. So we wish them the best of luck. It's exciting. That is all that I have.
Okay. Next on the agenda, we have the speed. No. We were going to table that until next meeting. Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda, we have the consent agenda items. We have 4 of them. They are to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of education from January 11, 2016, executive session meeting minutes January 11, 2016, and committee of the whole meeting January 25th, 2016, and the special board of education meeting January 25th, 2016. We also have gifts for Wellness Day from various vendors, as well as FOIA requests and the approval of the school district library grant program. I make a motion to approve, will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items listed below. Odom and Mrs. Harrod. Oh, sorry, Mrs. Huckabee. Yes, Mr. Sims.
I would ask that we pull the minutes from the committee meeting from January 25th out of the consent portion so we can discuss it.
Okay. Then I make a revised motion, or I'll entertain a revised motion to approve the consent agenda items listed below with the polling of the January 25th meeting minutes as Mr. Sims has requested. Mrs. Huckabee? And second? Do I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Marks? Do the roll call, Mrs. Brino?
Okay, Marks?
Yes.
Odom?
Yes.
Huckabee?
Yes.
Simmons?
Yes.
Paredes?
Yes, and the motion has passed. Next on the agenda, I will call for a motion to approve the January 25th, was it the executive session or the regular? I'm sorry.
The regular committee meeting.
Okay. The regular January 25th, committee as a whole meeting minutes agenda. Mr. Simmons, or do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mrs. Marks, a second?
Second.
Mrs. Huckabee. Mr. Simmons?
The question concerns the bottom of page 3 with regards to the discussion on the parent university, Flossmoor Internal University proposal, revised proposal that Superintendent Duster put together at some of the board members' request to provide more detail on topics, instructors, proposed costs for running the rest of the sessions that had been interrupted because of concerns. And we recommended moving the item forward for approval at tonight's meeting. And that is an accurate reflection of what happened at that committee meeting. However, there's now another sentence after that that references a subsequent email from the president of the board asking for this item to be placed on the committee of the whole. And that Parent University, Flossmoor Internal University does not appear on tonight's agenda. So I guess I'm a little confused as to what happened there.
That, I moved it to, or I made the suggestion to move it to the next Cal because I think we need to have further discussion on that. I don't think that, I think there's a lot of work that's gone into that. I think there's a lot of good parts. However, from my awareness of the will of the board, as defined by the majority of the board, the way it is right now, I don't think that's going to pass. And I think that this would be a great opportunity for the administration to take a further look at that and address some of the concerns and present some options that might have a chance to get passed. That's why I made that suggestion.
Was it the will of the board at the committee meeting to move the item to the agenda for tonight's meeting?
I don't believe it was, I don't recall that that was the will of the board to move it to tonight's agenda meeting. I did call the canvas around to ask whether or not that's something that we will be willing to, and if that's something that they'd be willing to consider, because I would hate for that to be killed off in a vote where I think it could be restructured and represented in a way that is much more likely to gain some traction.
So it's your contention that at the committee meeting, it was not the will of the board, despite what the minutes reflect, and despite what I'm sure is on the video, to move this to tonight's meeting for a vote.
That is correct.
And so are the minutes incorrect? Is that what you're saying here?
Yeah, I guess I have some question about the minutes, the way that they're written. Because I understood from the majority of the board members present that that was something they were not going to support. And so therefore, they were not interested in moving that forward to this meeting.
It was your takeaway from that meeting, that committee meeting,
Yes,
that the majority of the board did not want this moved to February 8th tonight for a vote.
that is correct. That's what I understood.
Okay. I would suggest, this is supposed to be minutes reflecting the discussion, conversation at that committee meeting. The email portion that was received after that committee meeting should be reflected in the minutes of the committee meeting.
Okay.
Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that, yes.
Okay. So then we can all agree that it was your decision, based on your feelings of the discussion and/or board comments at that meeting, the committee meeting on the 25th, to not bring it forward to put it on tonight's agenda, but rather to put it for further discussion at the committee meeting in 2 weeks.
That is correct.
correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So, then, with regards to these minutes, I would suggest that you entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented with that sentence that I've referenced struck, referencing the email dated February 3rd that came from you.
I would add to that motion that it was not the recommendation of the board on that evening that be removed. The recommendation portion was not.
So what we really want to do then is, based on Mr. suggestions, is remove everything from this minute draft from recommendation to agenda at that bullet point. Is that correct? Okay.
Recommendation official memory that there was no consensus as to moving forward on the agenda.
Okay, then I will make a motion that we accept these minutes, that we will accept these minutes as presented with removal of the section that reads, recommendation, Board of Education recommends moving this item forward for approval to the February 8th, 2016 Board of Education meeting. Based on an email received from Mr. Paredes dated February 3rd, 2016, the item will be placed on the February 22nd Committee of the Whole meeting agenda.
I think there's already a motion on the floor, and I don't want to go discussion of the existing motion yet.
Are there any further comments?
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you arrive at your interpretation that the board did not wish to move this forward to this meeting?
Listening to discussion from board members?
Even though at the committee meeting,
See, at the committee meeting, I did not hear the phrase, "You're going to move this forward." I understood that this was something that
I
was
believe
going to
that,
be addressed.
is it not the job of the president to ask the question following each discussion item and how, whether that discussion item should be moved forward to the agenda?
Well, is it? I mean, is that something that you have in some document that I should see, or?
How do
I
items
wasn't
move,
under-
where do items move from the how discussions to the agenda?
I was,
I'm sorry, I'm asking Mr. Brady.
No, no.
This is okay.
I'm not answering her
Hold on a second.
question, darling, don't interrupt me.
Hold on a second.
I'm speaking for myself, this is my comment. As the vice president of the board, a point of order is that this is not proper conversation that he had during the approval of the consent agenda and these minutes.
We're done with
The
that
only
consent
discussion,
agenda. We're just approving these minutes, and it's perfectly appropriate to discuss the content of the minutes.
whether it's accurate or not,
Right, that's
whether
what we're
the,
discussing.
whether the minutes are accurate or not accurate. What is your problem?
okay, I'm
Every
gonna make a motion to end this discussion. All in favor, say
You
aye.
have some kind of problem at the meeting. Can we
Okay.
just get through a meeting
Hold on a
without
second.
you having the moment?
Mrs.
I'd
Odom,
like to see the email.
Mrs.
of
Marks,
the
I'm gonna make a
president
motion
asking
to end this discussion on this agenda item and move forward to a vote.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
You can't actually go to the discussion.
He's not in the discussion, he's taking a vote on the motion.
Okay, so do we have a motion then? So, I
The
will,
motion was made originally by Mayor Huckabee for,
I thought that we were going to discuss January 25th, Mr. Simmons, brought up the discussion. So I was in favor of him doing that. But there seems to be some differences of opinion as to what happened, what didn't happen. So I think we need to strike up to the point so we can move forward.
Okay, so once again, is there a motion that's still out on the floor, or has that been withdrawn?
No, I have not withdrawn my motion. The motion I made was to discuss these minutes, which have been already removed from the consent agenda. The consent agenda has already been voted on, absent these minutes. My motion was to discuss these minutes for approval, submit these for approval. We were in the middle of that discussion.
So we do have a motion.
Okay. So,
And Mr. Simmons' recommendation was to remove based upon that sentence all the way down to agenda. My recommendation was to remove the, recommendation, that whole paragraph, both those sentences.
okay. So then, I make a motion to accept.
Should vote on this.
Okay.
Yes, we put another motion, and James seconded.
Okay. So then we're voting on Mr. Simmons' motion?
Yes.
He didn't make a
I didn't make a motion.
I have a motion by Mrs. Marks, seconded by Mrs. Huckabee to remove that whole recommendation period. That is what I have as the motion that's on the table.
Okay, then let's bring that to a vote. Could we
No,
roll
I
call?
believe the motion was to approve the minutes as submitted.
Right, as amended, removing that recommendation
No,
piece.
the original motion was to approve the minutes as submitted,
Okay,
original,
okay,
which was second.
okay.
I asked for discussion. I
Right,
highlighted a sentence in here that didn't make sense to me, and the discussion ensued. I believe Ms. Odom also suggested that the first sentence in that paragraph also be removed,
okay,
but the original motion is still on the table.
okay. Just take out that last sentence,
And
okay.
so I believe somebody would have to remove that original motion, or we would vote on it, yes, yea or nay, and then a subsequent motion will be put forth, if nay or pulled,
Okay.
to approve the motion with the suggested edits.
Okay, so. Okay, so we are right now either approving or not the motion to discuss. Is that correct?
My understanding is the motion on the floor is to approve the minutes as submitted.
Okay.
You may call for a vote if you want, or you may ask the person who submitted the motion if they wish to amend their motion or pull the motion altogether,
Okay, do you wish,
which is Ms. Marks.
Ms. Marks, do you wish to withdraw this motion?
No, I do not.
Okay, then I'm going to call this to a vote. Mrs. Perino?
Okay, Simmons,
No.
Huckabee,
Yes.
Odom,
The
Yeah,
motion,
yeah.
I'm confused. The motion is to have a discussion?
No, the motion was to approve the minutes as presented.
Okay, no.
Any Marks,
No.
Paredes.
No. I will then make a motion has failed. I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented, having struck the section that we've discussed. Recommendation, the Board of Education recommends moving this forward for approval and ending with 22 Committee of the Whole meeting agenda. Have a second? Mrs. Huckabee? Would roll call Mrs. Perino?
Okay, Simmons,
No.
Odom,
Yes.
Marks,
No,
Huckabee,
Yes.
Paredes.
Yes, and the motion is passed.
I have a point of order, I guess. I don't believe Mrs. Huckabee was present at the meeting.
That's,
I don't know that you can vote on the minutes of the meeting you weren't in attendance.
she actually can. I've checked with Mr. Foster.
You can approve minutes when you weren't at the meeting?
You're approving something. You either approve what's presented to you or you don't.
That's interesting, okay.
I checked about a year ago.
You've never shared that with us before, so thank you.
That's because I was sitting right over there, and I thought everyone else already knew that. So I was new and everyone else was here. But that's neither here nor there. Next on the agenda, we have, okay, information action items, approval of the bills. I reviewed the bills this month, and I find them to be in good order, and I will call for a motion to approve the bills in the amount of $1,030,298.67. I'm sorry. I make a motion to approve the bills in the amount of $1,030,298.67.
Second.
Okay,
Do we have a roll call, Mrs. Brino?
certainly, let me just break this down here. So, Mr. Paredes reviewed the bills and he seconded, okay? Huckabee,
Yes.
Odom,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Marks,
Was there discussion?
I didn't call for discussion. I thought if there was a discussion, somebody would have said something when I asked for the roll call. Do we need a discussion on this?
I have a question.
Okay. Is
It
this
says
a-
that our notes, our official documents say that Mrs. Boyd Odom reviewed the bills. Is there was some discussion on the
That's-
bills?
that's-
I want to know, Mr. Reyes
That-
said he reviewed them.
Originally, yes, it
And
did say
said
that.
you
That's,
did.
that clarified, yes. Originally it said that, but I reviewed the bills.
Okay.
Do we continue with our vote? Or should we do roll call again? Would you start again, Mrs. Bruno, just for clarity's sake?
okay, Huckabee,
Yes.
Odom,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Marks,
Yes.
Paredes.
Yes, and the motion has passed.
Just bring up, there's a form in there we'll have to read.
Next on the agenda item. Okay, I'm sorry. Next on the agenda, we have approval of bills. I'm sorry, payroll. Forgive me. I will make a motion to approve, I'm sorry. I'll make a motion to approve payroll in the amount of $1,292,701.80 for the month of January 2016.
Second.
We have a roll call, Mrs. Perino. Is there any discussion, any questions? Can I have a roll call, Mrs. Perino?
Simmons,
Yes.
Odom,
Yes.
Marks,
Yes.
Huckabee,
Yes.
Paredes.
Yes, and the motion has passed. Okay, next on the agenda, we have the approval of the Home and Flossmoor Spanish textbook adoption. I will make a motion to approve the Parker Junior High School Spanish curriculum, which follows the Home and Flossmoor High School curriculum. Home and Flossmoor High School is adopting a new curriculum for the 2016-2017 school year, and therefore District 161 will need to purchase the same materials for Parker Junior High. Do I have a motion? Up first? Mrs. Huckabee? And a second? I will second the motion. Sure.
I just really want to know, is there, I don't know if there were materials, I was kind of looking at this, is there any way that some of these books can be put or not online?
Yes, there will be an app online and there's also a classroom site. They'll be on the right. Yeah.
Okay.
In addition to this, all the questions that we previously had from Cal were addressed by the administration, and I had a conversation with Dr. Moore today in which all the pricing concerns were addressed I think, in our benefit. If anyone has any further questions to that, we could discuss that now, otherwise I will continue.
Well, the question I do have, is there any difference of pricing in books being purchased, online versus the actual textbooks themselves?
The way that they do it is they do it in a bundle package so that students, we purchase so many licenses, and then the actual textbooks that we're getting to have in the classroom, the set of 30, that then is bundled with a digital text, so it's all inclusive of the price.
So it doesn't really make a difference in pricing, is that what it is, or is there a difference?
When you do a package deal, Ms. Huckabee, they're gonna give you the best price they can when they do that. When you're buying in bulk like we are, they're gonna give us those same types of prices. We have 2 teachers that are using them, but the high school uses a lot more.
I understand the bundle part, but I'm asking the question, are we charged more for textbooks or online, or doesn't really matter? I guess that's really what I'm kind of getting at, the pricing.
Each one is separate for that, and when they bring them together, they have a type of discount in a bundle package for us to help.
Okay.
Could we have a roll call, Mrs. Brino?
Okay, Marks?
Yes.
Odom?
Yes.
Simmons?
Yes.
Huckabee?
Yes.
Paredes?
Yes, and the motion has passed. Next on the agenda, we have approval of the 2016-2017 school calendar. I will entertain a motion to approve the 2016-27 school calendar as presented. Mrs. Odom? Second, Mrs. Huckabee. Yes, Mr. Simmons.
I think there was a reference to a change that had been made since the committee meeting. Can you just briefly highlight what that change is?
Yes,
and
thank
why
you.
it was made?
Yes, there are 2 changes actually. At the last meeting, I was going back and forth on a couple things. I spoke with the FEA and they had a few suggestions at our district leadership council meeting last week. We had a discussion about it as well. It was quite a lengthy discussion. And those changes are this: the teachers really wanted 2 days before school started so that they can become acclimated. So what I've done is we were going to start on the last one on August 19th with the teachers. Now what's being proposed is August 18th, so that gives our teachers and staff 2 days before school starts. And what we did is by moving that up, it didn't affect the last day of the calendar. That stays the same with us. Snow days, which would be June 7th. And with that being noted, that October 11th date, if you remember, I was going back and forth with School Improvement Day, Student Attendance Day, etc. So what, through collaboratively discussing this, we came up with is it'll be an NI day, a non-attendance day, where the only people that will be coming to work on that day would be the 12-month employees.
That's a Tuesday.
That is a Tuesday.
So
The
Monday and Tuesday is non-attendance days.
Yeah, so for the students and our 9-month or 10-month employees and less, it will be a day off. And our 11 and 12-month employees, that will be a work day. If they choose to take a vacation day that day, they may do that.
So the 2 changes are
At the
the
beginning
change
of the
on
year.
the 11th of October
Yes.
and the change on August 18th.
That is correct. And other than that, the rest of the calendar mirrors HF for the large breaks as well as 153. You're welcome. Once this is approved, we will send this out to the community and post it within the next 48 hours. Any other questions?
We have a roll call, Mrs. Brino?
Okay, Simmons?
Yes.
Odom?
Yes.
Marks?
Yes.
Huckabee?
Yes.
Paredes?
Yes, and the motion has passed. Next on the agenda, we have the approval of the committee report on the review of the superintendent's evaluation tool. And I will give a brief discussed in that meeting last Wednesday. All of you should have gotten a copy of the superintendent's evaluation tool as the final product from the committee meeting. In terms of the content review, the committee really just made a few clerical changes, nothing too substantive, but I'll go through them. On page 1, we removed the word draft in section 2. Also on page 1, we added optional after the board expectations in this section 2. And also, page 1, we spelled out the ISLC, or ISLC, in section 2 to read Interstate School Leaders Licensure Consortium Standards. Page 7, we added wording with a checkbox that reads, this option not exercised as part of the current as part of the current year review. That is the section that has the optional board expectations, just so that there would be no confusion as to why that might be blank. And that included a space for the board president and the superintendent initials and date. Page 14, which is new, added an addendum page to add in updates in relevant goal language since prior review.
And that was just, there were some things that didn't make sense, there's just clarification page, sorry.
Right, that's okay. So, for example, page 3, the ISAT is no longer relevant, and so it was replaced by current, it says replaced by current state assessment. Also, no goals remain consistent with multi-year contract. Addendum only used to capture changes in language not relevant to current year review. Yes?
Yeah, I thought it was a good idea for the current state assessment because part could be gone in 2 years. So that would be essential.
This would give us a little bit more flexibility with the wording if we need. In terms of the review process, the committee recommended the following. To one, follow up with Tony Lee regarding a secure site for transmittal of data, to include links to necessary documents to complete the review, which would include a current strategic plan, link to the ISLC standards, and the evaluation tool itself. And also, we would just see attached, again, the superintendent process recommendation, including timeline, ownership, and communication, vehicle, and action. I'm going to just read through this very briefly. Okay, so in February, at the February board meeting, we will link to secure site with the current superintendent evaluation tool and any supporting documentation sent to the board. At the February CAL, the superintendent will complete his self-assessment with ratings and supporting evidence. He will provide this to the board for review. 1 week after the February CAL, individual board members will complete the evaluation. At the March board meeting, the president will consolidate individual evaluations, provide summaries to the board for review. Scheduled at the February CAL, we will have an ad hoc meeting or a special board meeting to have a conversation around 1, the mode that is derived from each section rating, and 2, where no mode exists, the board discusses until agreed upon rating is reached. Number 6, following the ad hoc meeting, the board president and board vice president and superintendent will review the document. At the April board meeting, the board superintendent will have a discussion on the evaluation, and if the superintendent wishes to provide, he may provide a written response if applicable. On the following April board meeting, the board president will gather a final copy of the evaluation and for the file as well as the council. The April CAL, the board president will establish an evaluation tool review committee. Prior to the May CAL, the committee will solicit full board input, convene to review the current tool. At the June board meeting, the board and the committee current year review tool, including goals, board expectations, which are optional, and present for approval following the June board meeting upon board approval of the superintendent's current year evaluation tool with goals entered into a secure site.
I think those people that weren't there, the review of this was a must, so I appreciate that time going through this process.
And I'll say that I think we definitely got a lot of great input, everybody that was there. And certainly I think this is a much more solid and useful evaluation tool and certainly evaluation process as well. And we have fixed dates that are dependent upon the board and Cal for each year, or each month, so that they don't have to constantly be revised every year to adjust the current school calendar, which is fit based on the designation of regular board meeting and municipal meeting for that month. Okay, I will call for a motion to approve the recommendations made by the committee for the superintendent's evaluation tool review. Mrs. Huckabee? Do we have a second? I'll make a second. Question, Mr. Sings?
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
First of all, thank you to the committee for the work on this issue. In the recommended evaluation process that you briefly highlighted verbally, step 5 is, I'll call that the board evaluation conversation. Under timeline, it says scheduled at February Cal. Does that mean that we talk about a date to hold that conversation at the Cal meeting?
That is-
Or we hold the conversation at the Cal meeting?
We're going to have, no, thank you for clarifying that. We are going to have that meeting sometime after the March 14th regular business meeting. So we'll have a special meeting that week where we can all meet, we can all have a meaningful discussion. But we are going to decide what that date's going to be at the February count.
Okay. My second question is regarding the term mode. I'm wondering how the committee arrived at the use of a mode to come up with an aggregate rating.
The term was actually suggested by Barbara Tony last year during the board training for the tool. And, basically what it means is these are the most common numbers in that rating. So say, for example, one board member put a 4, one put a 1, and another put a 2, but 4 put a 3. So then the mode would be 3. And then that would be,
Did the committee have any discussions on whether that was the appropriate methodology to use this year? Or was it just merely a carryover from last year?
I don't think that was something that, and really this is the way the conversations went. We went through step by step. Mrs. Harold had created a map for us to follow where we went through each of the procedures and we went through each of the items on the, or in the evaluation tool. I don't believe the conversation of is mode a correct term, or it really just never came up in terms of discussion. It was just, so I guess you could say it was a carryover from what we did the previous year, but I think it was well understood enough where it just never came up. It wasn't something we discussed.
I reiterate a previous comment I made for the record that I believe last year's process was flawed in a number of ways, and hopefully we're learning and improving on it for this year. One way in which I believe it was flawed was the attempt to use a mode to aggregate our aggregate feelings on how the superintendent performed. And as such, what ultimately happened was the president determined the aggregate rating. Now, the mode, I believe, is inherently flawed for a number of reasons. You've highlighted what the mode means, which is the most frequent rating.
Right.
For example, 7 members doing an evaluation, you might have 2 that rate a 4, 2 that rate a 3, and 3 that rate a 1. The mode would dictate a rating of 1 in such a case, which I believe is wholly inappropriate. As such, I would suggest the committee entertain the possibility that we use a different metric, such as the mean or the median, which I believe are inherently more fair in this process.
Okay.
Those are all the questions that I have.
My suggestion would be that this is something you could bring up at the next CAL, and I don't think that this will affect the timeline, since that conversation would take place ultimately in March. So I think that would be enough time for us to consider that at the next CAL, if we wanted to meet again as an ad hoc committee, discuss whether or not the mode mean or the median is the best means for gathering, the opinion of the board on one particular subcategory.
I would feel more comfortable, given the fact that we sometimes come away with different impressions, and we sometimes hear different things in these recent meetings, that an amended motion that strikes the phrase "a mode is derived for each section rating," where no mode exists, the board discusses until agreed upon rating is reached, and put "subject to further discussion and agreement," or the like.
I wouldn't agree with that. We had an opportunity to have a meeting that was an unscheduled meeting of the committee, the people who wanted to be a member of the committee was present. You guys, as you said, came up with the language, you went through the whole thing as a committee. I believe it was, 6 of you there?
Yes, there were 6 of us.
6 people.
Well, there's 3 people in the committee, I'm sorry, there's 3 people in the committee, the superintendent and Mrs. Marks came to.
So 5.
We did read your recommendations or your concerns that you sent to Mrs. Harrell.
So his mode conversation or recommendation was in that mode medium range? It was in that recommendation?
I'm not quite sure. I don't remember off the top of my head. Do you remember the comments or the concerns that you had?
I did not raise this in
Okay.
advance of that meeting because I didn't know if it was going to be a part of what the committee was recommending,
Okay.
which is now on the agenda, and now is why I'm raising it.
Okay, I would,
Like I said, I believe that everyone had an opportunity to put their suggestions forward. You all took those suggestions into consideration. This is not a new document. This is something that we used last year, and everyone had an opportunity to weigh in on whatever the changes were. I think this is belaboring the whole situation, the approval of this, and I don't think that is the feeling where the committee is going with that. You guys have put forth an effort and spent your evening going through tirelessly, going through every single point on here. I think it's at a point right now where it needs to be approved or not approved. If it's not going to be approved, if the feeling of the board and the vote of the board is that it's not approved, then it's not approved. But we need to move towards finalizing this tonight and go forward with the motion.
okay, well, are there any other comments? Okay, with that, I will entertain a motion to, well, I'll make a motion. You can vote on that, and then if we want to get back to that, you're certainly welcome to put that forth as an agenda item to be discussed. Mrs. Prima, could we roll call?
Marks?
No.
Paredes?
Yes, and the motion is passed. Next on the agenda, we are going to executive session for matters relating to personnel and closed minutes review. It should be about 40 minutes. Can you make a motion to go to executive session? Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Odom. Your roll call, Mrs. Carino?
Odom?
Yes.
Huckabee?
Yes.
Simmons?
Yes.
Marks? Paredes?
Yes, the motion is passed. We'll go to executive session for about